Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Welcome to Do Not Relent. I'm Slider.
It's your boy, Zation.
What up? It's Ron, Fire Mage Cool Man, and Horde PB. That's what the kids are saying for punching bag. Also, I might sound different and a dog might scream to the side of me. I am currently at Adam last name's home.
Can we go back to PB? What if you were PB Ron and you had PBRs?
Hey everyone! It's PB Ron here, coming to you with everyone's... You really just the beer that makes me think of the working class the most. Just kind of downtrodden, going back to your studio apartment, being like, tomorrow's the next day. If you wanted that in liquid form, it'd be a PBR.
Wasn't that the one that we bought 100 cans of? Or was that the keg we bought of PBR? Or was that both?
Yeah, we bought a 100 pack, and it took 3 of us to carry it back from the store because it was so long. They decided to make it long over anything.
Workman's beer just reminds me of the time that good friend Dan got like 100 Rolling Rocks for a Super Bowl party, and then he drank like 6, and he was like, the rest are just here. And then you, Slider, proceeded to hide them around my home at the time, and I was finding them up until like the day I moved out.
Yeah, I think there's still some in that house, some that won't be found until that house gets torn down. I'm sure,
yeah. It'll be a selling point of that home for whoever owns it. It's like, there's like 40 Rolling Rocks hidden in here somewhere from 2018.
But I'd say it's time to address the major thing on this WoW podcast, because, you know, we are a WoW podcast. We got an official 9.2.5 patch release date and the official patch notes. So we're talking May 31st, which is, well, the next reset after this podcast releases.
5 days away from this current recording.
It's so fucking soon. Which we knew was going to be soon because it was on, what's it called? It was a candidate for release recently, which means it's coming.
Yeah, which always means that like they would always announce it like a few days after that, and then it would be released like shortly after that as well. I overall think this is earlier than a lot of people were thinking the pack was going to be released, which means I hope this means that like actually we're closer to 10.0 than people are anticipating as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember Steve said in the in the infamous Twitter Spaces that 10.0 is quite far along. So I could definitely see it at least being announced before the end of the year and then maybe coming out very early 2023.
Yeah, I guess with the patch being announced for being May 31st, they also made a very small one-sentence blue post that reads, Shadowlands Season 4 coming soon. Season 4 will be making its debut later this summer. Keep an eye on worldofwarcraft.com/news for more details on when Season 4 will be available.
And like for us, the major thing is that means that we can continue earning AOTC in the SEPI, cutting edge. That's not us, but like for anyone who needs it still, and our teleports for doing 20s. All of that we can still earn until whenever Season 4 starts. And a lot of people are saying that like, well, they just said like summer-ish. So who really knows what that means?
What, like middle of September? Probably. They're going to really stretch summer out to as far as it can go.
This makes me think, so currently we still have access to AOTC for the SEPI, but in Season 4 or whatnot before Dragonflight, do we think there's going to be an AOTC for like funny raids? They're going back and they're changing other things. I guess, do you have the answer?
There will not be AOTC available. Now, I don't know if that means you can't get the old one and they're going to have a new fun Mega Mix AOTC button.
Well, so they won't have AOTC, but I think the main thing for the Fated raids is that you'll be able to get Slime Cat by doing them on a certain difficulty, which I don't think they've released the specifics about that, but like I feel like that's that. And then I think there might also be a title attached to it. So there are rewards you get for doing the content, and I assume there will be something for Mythic Plus as well. I don't know if that means that there will be like portals to Mechagon and Gorgon and things, but maybe that'd kind of be cool.
I think we are going to be getting those portals. I feel like the portals are a really good system for getting people to push and do this content, which makes it interesting that, like, I wonder if they're noticing like a fall off in people like pushing higher keys now, because I mean, if you've had portals, you know, since the beginning, those portals carried through until now. So
right, and if you don't care to go for the portals, most people will just be like, you know, I did my 15s, I got my Keystone Master, and that's the max that I need to do to get my max 278s from the vault. So a lot of people just don't find a reason, I feel like, to go much past what their goal is, and then I assume they need to draw more people in again.
I think the craziest thing is that we're gonna be having cross-faction gameplay next reset. Like, we'll be able to group with Horde people. Who would I even group with, though? Like, I guess there's somebody like in our community space who just posted that. Is anyone excited? I don't even know who this person is. We have a Horde Alliance community set up for this, and he's like, I can't wait for when this happens. And I'm like, who the hell's Gertie43?
Yeah, we don't know him because he plays only Horde. But then my question is, we've always been an Alliance guild, so whose friend is this? Like, how do we know him?
You need to leave.
We sort of touched upon it earlier in our personal chat, but I don't think it'll be like, oh, finally we'll open our doors up to the Horde, and I guess we get this one guy who's like, I'm coming over to join you. But more so, a bunch of people on our raid team will be like, oh, I've been maintaining this ugly, shitty Horde character this whole time. Finally, I can... It's like that, not to quote the familial guy, but it's like, oh my God, finally we can unzip our white people suits and show who we really are. All of the humans can finally reveal that they were secretly orcs this whole time.
Something we knew the whole time. Womp womp.
Yeah, because guess what? It's not... They're never secretive about it. Anyone who plays both is like, damn, it's so much greater to be on the Horde.
I mean, I'm like, we had a brief discussion in Raid last night where people were like, oh yeah, next reset, technically, if you want, you can race change to Horde and we can still invite you to continue raiding with us, which is weird, but like, you wouldn't be able to be in our guild anymore. And I actually saw this thing, I think Mr. GM posted it, that there was a bug in the candidate for release on PTR where people were able to invite the opposite faction into their guild by doing like some weird roundabout way of inviting them. So I wonder if like they'll see that and then just allow that to continue happening, or if it is obviously just a bug and they just will fix that. And then overall I'm wondering, like, when will it be coming? Because I feel like they'll see that a lot of people are using cross-faction to group up for dungeons and raids and things. And I think that's like what the community will be pushing for next. I don't personally care, but you know.
I'm almost certain it's coming. They're just taking baby steps to get everybody there. And I bet you the next step is going to be opening every class option to every class option to every race option probably as well. So how you smooth that and just make it easier to transition. And I don't like that. I don't think I kind of hate that. I like having certain identities to certain classes, but I feel like it's just going to be outdated once we are meshing everything together.
But speaking of baby steps, all of them might not be available now, but we're going to talk about which ones will be coming in this week's Time Warp. Okay, so Time Warp, I want you to tell me, on the count of 3, what new race class options are coming in 9.2.5. I will warn you, there's not a bunch of them. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Tauren Priest, Tauren Mage,
Orc Priest, Draenei, and Lightforged Draenei Rogues.
Lightforged Draenei Rogues. Human Shaman. Not really, that one's a fake one. Did we say them all? I feel like we said them all.
Well, because I know that the 3 classes that were getting added, like additional things, were rogue, mage,
What?
priest, but I don't know what.
There's another funny-looking group of people.
Us just not caring about what other horde thing is being added.
They all look funny.
Time! So what I was alluding to there was, and I'll admit the audio quality is a little suspect because my dear brother's home, he's a normie internet people, so his internet speed is not great, but the high mountain also exists.
Oh.
And yes, so the 8, I believe, are standard Draenei Rogue, High Mountain Tauren, Mage, Priest, and Rogue, Lightforged Draenei Rogue, Orc Priest, Tauren Mage, Tauren Rogue. I believe, I may have to go back and check in posthumous, but I do believe that apostrophization took it this week.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
that means
Slider, this is on you.
I gotta drink my drink. I got a margarita frozen cocktail in a bag. It's pretty good. I guess I'll just drink a big sip of this. Oh boy, that's not the audio quality I
Yeah,
wanted.
it's a Cubby Bub favorite. She's a huge fan.
Ooh, God. It's a lot of flavor. Also, why does it say naturally flavored wine product? Wine product? There ain't no tequila in here?
They're trying to hide it from you.
Weird.
So coming with these patch notes are the race weapons, but I don't know if we talked about it. Everyone can use them.
What?
And it's just Blood Elf and Dark Iron, right?
What do you mean everyone can use them?
I believe I saw that when you unlock them, like the Dark Iron Heritage weapons, everyone can use them.
They better not be. That don't make no sense.
I believe they are.
What? Who did that?
Yeah, which I agree. I agree with you. I don't know this era of being like, I don't know, like everyone's equal. Like I get it, but also like, what's the point?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, no longer race locked on 925 PTR. Well, then why even require you to have a class to go get them? Why not just distribute these freely into the world if we're going to let everybody wear the Dark Iron weapons?
Why not just have a quest that anyone can do where it's like fun, weird weapons?
That's so stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Nobody else should be able to use these but Dark Irons. Who wants to use the other one? Ugh.
I mean, it is a pretty cool pole arm.
Exactly. So it should motivate you to make a Dark Iron.
Yeah, that's your reward for playing that class. If we're gonna make everybody be in the same race and the same faction, at least can we keep something unique for people?
This is my out-of-body Magicant moment here, but every week I can see us shifting more and more into like our version of Old Head, but I'm okay with it. Keep certain things exclusive, please.
Yeah,
it gives
something.
people a reason to play certain classes.
Next thing you know, we're gonna have all our one person who be every single class, and then what?
Exactly, and then it'll just be Blood Elves and humans, and it'll be World of Whitecraft, World of Caucasian Craft.
Yeah, it'll be like, instead of like, I'm going to change my spec real fast, it's like, I'm going to change my class real fast. And it's like, I need to level priest on this character. Like, come on, this isn't Final Fantasy. Let's not go there.
It's my Final Fantasy.
Is that a thing you can do? I guess you can subclass, but can you octuple
Yeah, you can
class?
level them all and then switch between them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Monster Hunter, where you just change your weapon, I think.
Don't you dare say the name of a game I do like on a game I don't like, even if the concepts are the same.
All right, well, I have the patch notes here, so we can just figure out what exactly is in this shit. Top of the list is achievements. All Covenant Sanctum feature achievements are now visible and count towards your character's total achievement points. Okay.
Were they not?
I guess they weren't. I guess I do remember not being able to see certain things if I'm on my Night Fae. I can't see like the Necro Lord stuff that I have. Tower Ranger criteria now requires Jailer's Gauntlet Layer 4 instead of Layer 8. I don't really understand this one. I mean, I kind of
I just don't think people were playing that one. I heard people do it like that first week, and I'd see people with Tower Ranger or the Mount, but no one was ever like, gosh, Garly, this is the bee's
Yeah, I
knees.
still haven't even gone there yet. I actually didn't even pick up the quest from that guy in the center of Oribos where he's like, hero, come.
Damn, you just let an exclamation just sit
Yeah,
there.
I just
all this
don't
time?
care. Like, I have other things that I'd rather do.
That's weird. This is the best iteration of Torghast by far. You just go in and you just kill a bunch of bosses and you're done in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and leave.
you just trim the fat of all the stupid parts of Torghast. You just get your powers, punch a guy, and then leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I've never done it.
Whose fault is that? I don't know what this means. Animal canisters required for Cal Ed shot now respawn after General Call resets, and the slam debuff is no longer removed by immunity effects. Is this the one where you have to do the flying one, where you're dropping canisters, or is this some weird like party shit you guys do?
General Call, isn't that a raid boss? Isn't that Stone Generals?
And also the end of Sanguine Depths.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, so it's an achievement for Sanguine Depths, probably. Who cares? This one is hilarious to me. Fix an issue that was causing the Enlightened faction to not count towards the Exalted Rep achievements. You're telling me that this whole time, my reps have not increased by 1 because of this bug? Are you kidding me?
These are all things where it's like, how would you know unless you were like actively tracking it?
That's a good question. Honestly, like, is this one of the smallest patches we've had for a 0.5 in like a long time?
I'd say especially because all of the like Fated Raids and Season 4 in general isn't coming out with it, so it feels a lot smaller.
Because then we have.
I think the cross faction, it's kind of one of the things where it's like conceptually that is a huge thing. So they're like, well, that's the important thing, right? We don't need to overly stuff this to this 0.5 patch because that's gonna be huge. Sort of like the Worgen Eye thing where they were like, that's gonna blow Aaron's socks off. He doesn't need to do anything else.
That's all you have to do with us.
Exactly. A selfie camera, that's all they need for the rest of the expansion.
In the cross-faction section, it just basically goes through all the rules, how you can invite people from the opposite faction if you have a battle tag or real ID friendship, or if you're members of a cross-faction WoW community. Pre-made groups, mythic dungeons, raids, raided arenas, RPGs are now open to both factions. Things that are not open to both factions are heroic dungeons, skirmishes, or random battlegrounds. Anything you do random where you just press a Q and join, can't do that with friends, I guess.
Weird.
It's also interesting to note, because I actually think we brought this up, right? You cannot do Siege of Borealis or Daza as cross-faction groups.
Yeah, it's just hard locked because they were like, we can't find a feasible way past this. You're not going to do them anyways.
Ooh.
Which is a shame because Daza is one of the Chef's Kiss finest raids we've had in a long time, but I think that's just the nationalism in me.
Okay, I need you guys to start a timer. So next reset, okay, cross-faction people can play together. Now, my friends list hit capacity recently, and I had to remove somebody to make room for a new friend. Well, I removed Papa Cheese from my friends list because, I mean, he's not playing any games with me, nor is he talking to me, so I removed him. How long do you think until he's like, hey, we should do dungeons together? And he goes to message me, and he's like, why can't I message him? Where's he at? How soon until he figures out that I took him off my friends list?
Okay, I'm starting the timer now.
But you also removed him as a friend like a week and a half ago. So I maybe add a week and a half to that timer. I don't know.
Because he's probably gonna.
Okay, well we're at 13 seconds so far, so it's gonna take a little bit of math to see how many seconds was roughly 11 days ago. But I can do it.
Well, either way, I feel like with the announcement of the cross faction, it's more likely that he would. I'm not 100% sure that he's currently playing much, but
I think he
is. Weirdly, he is for not playing when it was like active.
He has time to play WoW, but he doesn't have time to talk to anybody else about WoW. Hey, maybe Clinge. Wait, no, maybe Tracer can hang out with us.
Ooh, Tracer. the legally defensible Tracer with 2 R's.
Tracer's a long-time listener, the fan of the podcast. She's out there somewhere waiting to get the cavalry here.
Cheers, love. The cavalry is here, she will shout as she logs on to her troll
I think it may have been an undead something, but either way.
I think it's an undead warrior, right?
I know for a fact that Tracer was an undead arms warrior because I saw him many a time.
This is all a reference to our friend who listens to this podcast sometimes.
Well, I mean, like, people know
he'll
who this is.
He listens sporadically, so
do they? Do people know who Tracer is?
2 months from now, he'll get it.
Oh man, these passions are really light. Okay, so this is honestly pretty important. It's actually would have been better a week ago. So you know those mark of distinctions that increase your renown by 40? Well, now they're doing it by 60.
I know, that's like great for alts, but then also they're making it so that Mythic and Mythic Plus dungeons, Torghast 9 through 16, Shadowlands raid bosses, winning an RBG, all of those things now have a 100% chance to reward renown upon completion. So in addition to just like being able to start at 60 and only needing to go to 80, this should be pretty quick now. So I feel like this is a really nice alt-friendly change.
Torghast level 9 is about to go crazy.
This was needed for a long, long time. I was tired of doing content, and it was like a 65% chance that you might get the thing. It's like, what set this Necrotic Wake attempt apart from a different one?
Pure luck. So stupid. This is, okay, though, this may be one of the more significant changes to our gameplay style. Reward boxes from Callings now contain twice as many Grateful Offerings, and your Zareth Mortis weekly quest, Patties, now awards Grateful Offerings. So you can start earning these shits to buy all the transmog on the Covenants you don't play, because why would you have any Grateful Offerings? You're not going to do the Animal Conductor bullshit.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, and because I've been doing my callings still on my hunter because he's been broke, and it's actually still a decent way to make some gold. I mean, if you just do that daily, I think it's like anywhere from like 2 to 5k gold normally.
Yeah, like I there's a lot of cool stuff that I want to buy from the different covenants on my alts, and I just don't have the offerings. And I'm like, this is the last thing I want to have to grind out. Like, I'm already doing patties on like 3 characters. I can't do it no more. There's some PvP changes. They're barely changes. Doesn't really matter. New map that people complain about, and it got changed. Did you hear about that? About how the map got nerfed?
Which map was this again?
What was the complaint?
So it's the Enigma Crucible, and the whole idea was, well, you see, there are these floating pillars that will rotate around the room. So you look normally in like arena matches, there's pillars, and you hide behind them, and you can avoid people and just make a game out of it. But now in this arena, they're going to be rotating, so you can't depend on it always being there. It might move out of the way and like expose you. Honestly, sounded pretty cool. People complain that like it wasn't gonna work, and that it's too different, and that it's gonna be too annoying in real matches, and so they scrapped it. Probably because pros didn't like the randomness of it. And it's like, every arena map's basically the same thing. Why don't we add a little spice in there, add a little pizzazz?
Because like being kited around a pillar that's like stationary is thrilling, you know.
You just gotta go with the flow. That's what I would say to the people who complain about this. So if you're listening to this and that was you, just go with the flow. I'm Slider.
Hey, fuck you.
Whoa.
I like consistency.
Come on, bud. This is a family podcast.
I spent decades learning the angles of each map, and you're telling me to fucking get used to random? What are you going to do, play the hero in Smash? Fuck that shit. Every Luigi side B should be a misfire, or none of them should.
Can you imagine? They're all misfires. Speaking of misfires, this Torghast change is coming way too fucking late. All wings are now open instead of 2 wings per week. Man, why the hell did we wait so long for this one?
It was so dumb because like on my druid,
you know what? I was about to say like, who's even still doing Torghast? Like, who's actively doing them all? But there are many people I know who are like, I've never been
and
through
like
them.
if you are leveling a new alt and your best legendary is tied to a certain wing of Torghast, like good luck. Like it might not be up for like 4 weeks, and so this is a great change. Like honestly, this should have been at like 915.
Should have been 9-1. I don't know. I was trying to make a Holy Pally legendary, so I was like, yeah, I'll do Torghast, and I was like, oh, the wings aren't available. I can't do it. It's just stupid. So 1 through 8 are now unlocked by default. 9 through 12 unlock after beating layer 8, and 13 through 16 are the same story. That's really it. That's the patch. That's 925. Cross factions, their big ticket item, and I guess Torghast is nice for the rest of us who have alts.
But beyond the official patch notes, there are a few things that people are still surmising and theorizing about. There is still that part of the splash screen that is heavily encrypted, so people don't know what that could mean. They think it might mean that allied race, or that it might be who knows what else. There are people like we jokingly said it earlier about how people supposedly saw human shamans on the PTR.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't bringing up like ha 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 a joke. Mr. GM on the Twitters said human shamans confirmed, and all it was a human woman who had male armor who had the Farseer title, which is, if I'm correct, that's the Legion shaman thing, right? That's like Archmage or Illidari. So, I mean,
Illidari, it's
that would be a
Slayer.
thing.
Slayer, first of all.
Slayer is the demon hunter one.
Yeah, please give respect to you're standing in front of
That's
Slayer
distinctly
Slider.
lamer in my opinion.
No, it's not, because you get Illidari 2. You get 2.
Slayer Slider.
You're sitting in front of Archmage Ron, Archmage PB Ron.
Kubaron. What's yours? High Dookie?
Yeah, High Dookiezation. No, it was High Priestess or High Priest, I think.
It's a good weed title.
But that's all we have as far as confirmation. And then also in the chat, Mr. GM asked, what do the totems look like? And the guy responded, still cow.
Still, like he's still a cow, is what he's saying.
I believe he was saying like they're still the Tauren ones, which that sort of also takes credence away from human shamans actually existing. If on the PTR they're like, we haven't even made their things yet. They can spec into it, but they're just using old stuff.
I also love if he just meant, no, like I'm still a cow, like I'm still a Tauren, like no, like me, the person. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah. Like Mr. GM is absolutely gaslighting us, and he just met some guy who was in like a human costume, and he was like, humans confirmed.
Yeah, he just used like the transmogger toy and got a human female of some kind.
Never even checked his buff list.
How embarrassing.
I logged into the PTR, and I was met with the player behavior and reporting patch thing. So like, you know, like there's social contract and stuff.
Ooh, did you get banned already?
It's as easy to skip through as an Apple TOS. The font is so small, the words are so numerous, they allow you to just scroll the wheel down and click I read and continue.
I mean that makes sense because, and I hate to say it, they're not wanting you to actually read it. They're wanting you to skip through it so they can trick you by banning later. But that's fine because like all of the information is there. Like it's sketchy that they don't make you actually know what you're agreeing to, but you're agreeing to be a good person. So when 70% of people inevitably aren't, it's like, okay, well, we can trip you up now.
You say this as if it's like some trap that like a good person would fall into, but like this thing is literally just saying,
yeah,
don't spew slurs in the chat.
Yeah, it's only so when baddies have like do their bad things, it's like, well, we have official justification now to get rid of you. Did you not read every line of the new intro?
That'd be a really good album name, When Baddies Do Bad Things. Would you guys sing a song for that album?
Yes, I would.
Yes. What about Growl? Would Growl sing a song for that album?
I don't know. Let's ask her.
Hello, everyone. Growlina here today to slip in this little bit of what the people on the street are talking about. In particular, we're talking about the streets of Tazavesh. So, Yerbal, when do you think we're going to be getting Taz as a home city? Is that the thing people are asking for? I haven't seen anything about that. Well, it's a thing I'm asking for. I want to cruise these mean streets and sell my wares at the trading post. Isn't Oribos a broker city? I would think that stays the capital here, and Taz is just, a dungeon. But Oribos stinks. I hate it there. They don't have a wacky post office with a spectral gnome woman. All they have is a single mailbox. Sorry, bud. I think that's all we're going to get, LOL. Well, I, for one, cannot let this stand. We, the people, want to live in a big bazaar full of triangle-faced people, and I will not rest until this is done. That said, I'm feeling a tad sleepy, so I'm gonna take a cat nap, but for dogs, as we head back into this episode.
Oh boy, Growl. Thanks, you dirty bastard. That's the name of the drink I'm sipping today, aka Santa Juice.
What are you talking about? Did you make this name for this drink, or did it come like this prepackaged?
No, this is a Michigan's own Founder's Dirty Bastard, but very infamously during one Christmas, I drank 3 of them while passing out presents as Santa, and very drunk, my brother asked me, "Are you doing okay?" And I turned to him sweating and I said, "Santa just needs more of his Santa juice." And it has lived on for years, so I'm sitting with it now in a much calmer environment.
Well, you must be the Santa for the Alliance, because you've brought us Cross-Realm Mythic Raiding with 925 this Tuesday.
Here you go! You can have it! Have a bunch of rude dudes in the chat.
All those dirty hordes will be there to say, to wipe once on a mythic boss and be like, man, this is why we are hordes, because Alliance can't do shit. But, so they'll just flame us. But
also, it's mythic only? Question mark?
Well, no, so usually this is the one where you need to have the Hall of Fame fill to 100 on Horde and Alliance before it opens up. The Horde reached 100 on their side last week. Alliance have yet to and are currently at 18 entries.
But hey, you know what? That's like 7 more than before.
But for clarification, Cross-Realm, Heroic, and Normal have always been a thing. It's just that Mythic, before the Hall of Fame is filled, you need to have 20 people that are just on your server. So this is the first time that this is happening before the Alliance Hall of Fame is filled, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they normally open it up this early. I mean, there's not really that many monumental things like this where cross-faction is being open to the public. So this is probably a better time than anything to do it. You're right, though. It's going to be a total shit fest this first couple of weeks. And I bet you that's why the social contract is coming out with it. So that way they can really hammer people down for being shits. Because, there's going to be groups of, mostly Horde people where they need to fill, and they bring an Alliance person, and he dies early, and they're going to be like, look at this loser down here, Alliance shit. And then they get reported, and they're like, did you sign the contract?
I wonder how quick they'll be able to enact it. It's like, get out of here, you fucking gaybo. And all of a sudden you see, Master Blader disappear. It's like, oh shit, they got him instantly.
It makes a raid-wide announcement. Master Blader has been deleted for homophobia.
It makes a cross-realm wide announcement now.
It's like the Hunger Games canon and announcement of when people died. Blow 78 died for being toxic.
It would just be filled with different variations of Illidan and different accents and umlauts on letters.
Oh, Illadine, Illadone, Illadon, all gone in one sweep.
Well, I guess we can transition from that raid into our raid because we made some progress I almost said in Phoenix Fusion. Whoa, throwback.
Ooh, I don't know about you. I left Loner's Paradise long ago.
But yeah, we did it. We got down Handuin, Handy Baby, heroic Handuin.
Against all odds. We creamed it, thank God. I've been working, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, working with people on their rotations and just like how to clean up some stuff. And I think it's really been helping because we have great AoE, and on the AoE phase where you have to fight the ghosts, we kill the ghosts and we kill those zombies so efficiently.
We had one of our cleanest pulls like ever on Anduin. It only took us 3 pulls, and one of the pulls was like an instant like, oh, somebody didn't get their blasphemy paired up and a bunch of people died, so Lynn's like, okay, everyone kill yourself. So really on our second pull of the night, we had like our cleanest pull where almost everyone lived the entire time. But what happened during that last phase there, Slide? Because a Slider, you were one of the people who died from something there.
I believe on the last phase, when everybody has purple circles, we did great the first round. And then I think it was either round 1 was like just ending, like the very end of it, a Wicked Star went shooting through the group and it hit somebody that had the purple circle. And apparently, when purple circles get hit by Wicked Stars, they explode. And so when they exploded, they took down like 6 of us near them. And I was like, not like this.
That's funny. I didn't even know that was a mechanic, honestly.
I didn't know Wicked Stars came out of that phase, I guess. I've never really seen them.
That final phase got me very sad, or very scared, rather, because so we did our thing where like 3 people at a time go into the middle to clear their stacks of the debuff. Then he put the debuff on us again, and Lynn's like, just focus him, just do it. And I was like, are you sure? Because he has 4% left, and like we were not bussing. It was not going to be a matter of seconds till we took him down to 0. So I was like, but luckily we did end up
because there's like a timer where like you have a certain amount of time to cleanse all of them, and then like I think they explode if they aren't. And I think Lynn just quickly was like, okay, we have X amount of time and there's X amount of his health left, so if we just burn, it's fine.
It'll take us 40 seconds to kill him, but it takes 45 seconds for the thing to happen.
Yeah, right. But so like, it was a race to the finish, but you know, I'm just glad that we're progging on a new boss now, and next week I think we're going to just do the skip, so just do Guardian right to Anduin, and then get up to our new prog bosses, which are now Lords of Dread, which we had a pretty good pull, like few pulls on. I think our lowest was it like 30% or even 20%?
I think it was like a 30, like a mid 30%. And that's a fight that we've always, as a guild, I say always, through normal, we were really good on. Like, we had the callouts down. I think, okay, honestly, I think we're lucky, if I'm being honest. I think people are hitting people that have demon wings before they say anything. Because some of those people, like, they were like, oh, I think it's immune. And then all of a sudden he'd pop, and I'm like, he must have been getting hit for a while.
Sometimes I do put Ignite on people that I see with wings because it's like, well, if this is the correct guy, then everyone will talk about that Aaron was such a cool dude. Except
for when you're the demon and you're just killing innocent lives.
Hey, I've never been the demon.
That's why.
If I was the demon, I would just ice block because clearly you're wrong. I'm such a good boy. Oh my god!
It was like on one of the polls, Mr. Slider over here was the demon, and his other demon partner, both of them were like, "It's immune, it's immune," and then Slider just kept saying, "It's immune, it's immune." So then everyone's like, "Oh, it's immune, kill him," because like they just heard Slide say it like 3 times. So then I got killed, and I wasn't the demon, and then it turned out he was the demon.
This is why I win Among Us. You just have to be the most loud and convincing and suggest somebody else every time.
That's why Slide is the perfect secret mean German dictator player because he has the ability to be loud and gaslight.
That's it. That's all you
even
need.
when it makes us wipe.
That's it, baby. But yeah, we did good. We did really good. I think we're gonna have that boss on soon. Rygalon, I think, is gonna be our second hard ass boss to beat. I'm not gonna think about Jailer for now. That's a whole different beat for a different time. Group 2 next week is taking off, actually. So they're not going to be raiding at all, which means that we're probably going to get stragglers. I mean, we for sure know we're getting 2 stragglers. I bet you we're going to have like 7, which is going to be interesting because that's going to be a huge boost, both in probably DPS, heals, and just a little bit of knowledge, a little more. I mean, like me and Immune and Persephone are, we've done these with other people, so we like have an idea of what to like tell the group and to get them prepared. But it's different between
Persephone has just completed it. She was flexing her robot spider in a major way, and I was like, okay, ma'am, glad you can come down here and slide around in the dirt with us.
That thing looks so cool, though. I'm super pumped to get that shit.
Yeah, I feel like this raid tier definitely is the hardest one we've rated while it's current, right? I mean, this like just the sheer amount of like the Hall of Fame not filling up, and the fact that we have taken so long and we aren't even on the last boss yet, And
then like even like in our other group in DOS with Jobs, like they may get the Jailer down this weekend, but I could also see it happening next weekend. Like this is hard. Like this is by far the hardest raid we've had in a very long time. And it sucks because I'm like, I want to do Mythic, but like, god damn, they're fucking hard as shit with the groups we have. Like, they're punch the fuck out of you. What do you guys think? How far do you think we're going to get next week with this weird hybrid group? We're missing one of our main healers, but we're being replaced with another healer that's always there. We're starting on Anduin. That's confirmed.
I think we are going to beat Lords of Dread, and I think that's it. I think I think Anduin will take us longer than we expect. Then we'll get Lords of Dread down in 6 pulls, and then we will fail on Rygalon, and they'll go back and tell their super buster group that we couldn't
Which
do
is
it.
like, okay, so I agree with you. I think bosses will be harder as a more fuller group with people from the other group than we anticipate, because they all do things their own way. They all come over and tell us that they do things their own way, and then there's like this whole little bit of awkwardness and like people wanting to blame the other people for wanting to do it their way, and like it just gets a little sloppy sometimes because like no one's on the same page.
I am really interested to see when they come over, if there's like, they ask about certain mechanics, they're like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, okay, I know we should ask on Anduin, who's the blood orange group and who's the banana group? And it's like, what? Because I remember when we were in Saudis, that was the thing. It's like, okay, I mean, I know I talked about it a bunch, but it's like, okay, so for this boss, we got the 114 group, the 118 group, and we were like, what the fuck?
That shit, and that's so funny because their raid lead is notoriously, this is what she always says, because I'm in charge of recruiting normally, and so I'm like, what do we need? Who do we got? She goes, okay, well, you know how we do it. We don't have any rules. We just pull. We don't talk about anything. You guys talk about every single thing and you plan everything out, so you can take someone who's newer and it'll be easier for them so they can understand. And then I'm sitting here like, but you're making groups that are like 1138 and like Morse code and like color coded and just she puts things into groups that don't need to be into groups. Like, it's so bizarre. I think really she just means we don't talk before the pull, and that's it. The rest we have rules for.
Which is fair, but I feel like it's not because like we have all these distinct groups. It's because they have like 8 people who like never sleep. They only play the games. So it's like, yeah, we don't talk before the poll because fucking Cybermaster is he's like, why can't they make a difficulty harder than Mythic? It's just we don't have Cybermasters in our group. We have people where it's like, yes, 7 weeks in, I do need to explain that Anduin does hurt people. He puts a purple and a yellow on people.
I also think that she really means that they don't want to have to teach people new things. They don't want new people and they want to. They're good people.
I mean, looking at the group size, they have like 11, 12 people. So they don't really add anybody usually. They're a small strike team. But the jail's kicking their ass.
It's weird. They did happen to add 3 to 4 new people, but I guess they had the high level enough score to make it in.
Some of them stopped playing with them, interestingly enough, and they do keys.
Wait, straight
and they
up?
do keys
Really?
instead. Yeah, so I'm like, oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to Do Not Relent Tea Time. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's at the end where everybody else is gone by now. So this is for you real fans out there. Yeah, I don't know. It seems, again, like it's just a whole elitism thing coming from that side, that pack of like 4 or 5. And like, I don't think they even mean it. It just comes off as like being so in your own shit, you know?
I guess I guess because these people aren't like Uno Masters. They're not like, oh, like I've hung out with you guys for years. It's like, yeah, we schlubbed around for a little bit. You weren't up to snuff, so like,
yeah,
goodbye.
and I think that's at least some of them. I think straight up are elitist about things. So I think that is what happened there, and they're forming their own group to run Mythic with. So I won't be surprised if some of them just do that with another group now that it's open for Cross Realm.
Who knows? All I know is our group, the real guild group, has been doing fantastic. We fucking got our group through a 20. Our like group that we've been like doing keys with for a while. We got our first 20 in time as a unit, which that was great. Very stressful. I think everyone was sweating.
Yeah. It's been quite the slow slog, but it's been very rewarding. And to know that we formed this group out of people who were rejected from the other more elite group that now just doesn't even do things. So
Yeah.
like
I think now we're aligned with the formerly morally elite group, and now we're with the new elite group. No, we're against the new elite group. We're not the new elite group. Oh no!
And I'm gonna sneak my way in to the new group. I'm gonna send a DDoS to the entire continent of South America to knock some heavy hitters out, and then I can take their place.
He'll find a way,
It's great.
dude. He will not.
you
can't
literally
stop him.
cannot.
I will DDoS the entire continent, and then he'll be like, "Did you think you got rid of me?" What is it like? Pointed bracket, period, pointed bracket. And I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
god!"
like there's times when like he legitimately was like, "Oh no, like the power lines on our block have like fallen out."
I was about to say, motherfucker, we were in a raid once in like BFA, and he was like, "There was an earthquake. Sorry if my DPS was bad."
Yeah, dude, I love Pop. The life Pablo lives. We gotta see him one of these days somehow. I don't know how safe it is. He's got a lot of stories that don't sound like it's very safe, but he lives like a minute walking from his friend's bar. All I hear is free
And then
booze.
he's always like, "Yeah, just hit me up over the key chat." And something like a few times when you're like, "Hey Pablo, you want to come run a key?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm at the bar. Just let me finish this pint, and I'll be there in like 10 minutes."
Yeah, I just message him on BNet sometimes, and like he'd be on his phone and be like, "Oh, okay, sorry, I gotta go, friend. It's time to run some keys at home." What did you end up getting? Well, I guess we can do top two, bottom boot, medium moot. We're kind of already doing that, but now we'll do a more formally top two, bottom boot, medium moot. Aaron, do you have a top two, bottom boot, medium moot?
Well, having me go first allows me to take the absolutely lowest road here in the valley. I'm glad we beat Anduin. I know it was really fraying a lot of people's nerves and confidence that we were hitting our head on him. I feel like Phoenix Fusion used to be all about that. Uno Mas sort of has more shit under their belt. But the fact that we had like a week and a half where we couldn't beat him was a little scary. But we did beat him. And so now it'll just take us 3 weeks to beat Rygalon, but that's okay because we're re-energized.
Yeah, I agree with you that the Phoenix Fusion old heads, which I guess we are now, which is weird to say, we wiped on like the second boss of a raid for like 3 weeks. So
I always cite it. I was with Phoenix Fusion at the beginning of Florida, and we were fighting the Stink Dragon at the beginning of Emerald
I'll
Dream.
never forget her name.
And we fought her for 3 weeks without beating her, and then I just stopped raiding, so I never beat her current.
And I will say that as a group, we have gotten a lot better. We're like a pretty decent team now. Even our group, which is the air quotes lesser team, but I am very proud of us. I feel like we're doing a very solid progress here, and yeah, I'm just very excited that we got this down. Yeah, and like as you said, a week and a half. That's pretty good for a boss as hard as Heroic Anduin.
I feel like Nithendra was everything our guild as a unit was bad at times 2. Things we didn't even know we were bad at. We learned we were bad at.
And then also, I know I personally was absolute dog shit. Like I'm not even going to be like the guild's like weaknesses. I know I was doo-doo. I don't know if other people other than us have like vastly improved since the time, but I know most people I know have vastly improved since then.
Oh, yeah.
Since 2016.
I think a lot of what makes the Phoenix Fusion energy kind of dissipate during raid is the fact that there's a group that's clearing it faster, which has always been happening to Phoenix Fusion, but it's different when you see it in your own guild, when you're at the second boss of a raid, and then you see them get an achievement for clearing the 5th boss, and everyone's like, oh man, and I'm like, no guys, we're doing better than we normally do. Like we're on pace. Like this is good.
I do agree that it's good, but Immunization, what is your TTBBMM?
So I feel like I'm gonna snatch this one up from a Slider here, and my top 2 is the aforementioned that we timed our first 20 this season. It was the other side, and we only had like a minute left. It was very much so like our butts were clenched, and we need to do this last boss flawlessly, which historically our group is never done flawlessly until then. So it was very nice and very satisfying that we got our first 20 on the other side, which has honestly been one of our hardest ones.
I was about to say it's honestly a lot of growth, because I remember, I don't know if it was season 2 or season 1, but the other side was the one that like crushed you. I feel like there was multiple episodes that ended with like, yeah, we went 17 seconds over the other side 20.
Yeah, its timer used to be one of the shortest timers, to like one of the most aggressive ones to catch. They've updated it a little bit since then. I just feel like our group's main problem is that we can perform really, really well throughout the 7/8 of a dungeon, and you put us in that last boss in that last chunk, and we all will choke. We will walk into everything. We will all fall over. And only when we're out of B-reses do we die.
Yeah, and like each of us will find our individual way to cause the group to wipe, and then we were somehow stuck on the last boss of Theater of Pain 20 for like literally 50 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just people just and the patterns do fuck us sometimes, and we do tunnel a little bit too much. We're good at choking, so I'm glad this one's done. Not looking forward to the other ones we have to do still. I don't think we like any end boss of any 20 that we've done. I think we hate all of them.
But yeah, it was just nice that we know that we can time a 20. And because it's also the fact that like we are a very non-meta group too, so we also just have something to prove, you know?
We're like 4 druids and a priest. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, and 2 of the druids are ferals, so... But yeah, Slider, finish us off here.
I got myself a top toot. I got myself 2 top toots because I can do that.
There is no law against it.
My first toot will be that for most of the recording, and I think I'm out just now, I was wearing my beautiful Dunkaroo earrings sent to me by Joe No Nips Dorno. It said, happy birthday. So these beautiful handcrafted Dunkaroo earrings, we were posting them in Discord. We're doing big earring talk at DoNotRelent.com. Join our Discord. Join the conversation. You can see all the earrings that I did mostly buy. I bought like 3 of them that I posted there. And Adorno sent me these ones that I'm wearing.
Yeah, Adorno messaged me on the side to try to organize buying these for you. And I think, like, because you bought all the other ones that were posted, I think you got kind of lucky with choosing this one that you didn't already buy.
They're literally just like a big Dunkaroo cookie with like frosting and sprinkle. It's perfect. It looks oddly scarily lifelike. Like I want to eat this. I was wearing them, but then I popped out.
I did see you post the picture of them, and I was like, that is a lot of earring to do. That seems like that would be quite the weight on the side of your head.
Actually, it wasn't that weighted. It was just hard with like my headset because like it was like closing into it, and then I moved it like in a weird way, and it went, and I'm like, oh god, I had to catch it. My first time putting an earring in without looking at it. It's pretty impressive. My second top 2 is gonna be, I'm really loving Demonology Warlock now. I know I was doing Destruction, but
Hell yeah. Ever since Immunization stopped being Immunization during Raid, I'm like, where am I going to get this motherfucking cloth gear? And here's where it is. You're my cloth factory.
no, you're my cloth factory. I'm gonna get my cloth from you.
You only ever play cloth when it's a lower level to steal my
You know what's
stuff.
funny is that Aaron's joined us like for a few keys recently, and the group has like shifted around where like I swapped from like my hunter to my priest, and then Aaron's like, yes, my master plan is coming to fruition to see my friend Immunization in game again.
I do miss her.
Yeah, the priest has been absent from, so many raid names in my head. From Uno Mas raids. I almost said Phoenix Fusion again. And also Animal House flew across my brain like, Animal House.
Did we ever actually raid with Animal House though?
When did we ever raid?
No, we never did.
I think we did, not even, we did like dungeons and we like progressed through WoD during all of the drama. And then by the time we were like, we're ready to raid, Animal House was done.
Yeah, it's dead. That at a really weird time. You're right though, because like we're gonna raid and then it was over. Thanks Kim. But yeah, I'm 255. I'm doing 10k in dungeons. It's kind of ridiculous and it's super easy and it's kind of.
I would like to add a bottom boot onto mine and just say that my bottom boot is the fact that Slidewhistle's Warlock Tapeworm, who is 25 eye levels lower than my Hunter, is going to end up doing more damage than my BM Hunter, just because BM Hunter, I'm more so realizing that like I'm getting like 99 parses in raid, and I'm like barely beating some of these other people that are like getting like 80, 70 parses. I'm like, I think I hit the ceiling.
Hey, we got accommodations for playing quote non-meta classes. We can't balk in the face of that
No, I mean, like,
compliment.
that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm like that's my man, and I'm gonna stick with him. But like, I'm just saying that Slidewhistle is like getting 10 more eye levels. He's gonna beat me in a dungeon. I'm like, oh, I don't know what else to do here.
First of all, I would like to remind both of y'all that I am playing the non-meta class. Thank you very much.
Feral?
Yes, no, even to this day, people.
They gave Feral her henny nails back.
No, they didn't.
I saw Kalis be very excited that she got her nails
Ferals
back.
are still being declined from groups for Boomkins, even though Boomkins are just actually performing worse than us for the first time ever in dungeons.
I would like to officially take the crown here as the least meta currently, though. BM Hunter is like literally in the garbage can, maybe just above Outlaw Rogue.
That's fine. But you also, you do have to.
That is very fair. I am allegedly the best mage.
You do have to assign points of when you decide to play this, because I went into Shadowlands picking Feral, and Feral was number 37 out of 36 specs. The bottom. There was don't even.
That's
bother
true.
with
At the
that.
beginning of Shadowlands, BM was actually decent, but yeah.
Y'all pretend like your picks are important, like it's not part of your intro. I'll never give up Fire
Honestly-
Mage. That shit can be biddity bottom. I can't. What am I gonna say? Arcane Mage Extraordinaire. That shit's scary.
Maybe I'm gonna add to my introduction whatever spec I'm playing the most that week. I'll get a fun tagline like yours.
You should, because it changes every like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, every 3 days. I was doing my mage for a little bit in the middle of that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
nah.
or like, what am I? Like, is my hot tagline at the beginning gonna be like, Immunization, aka Metalloid, Tamer of the Kitty Cats?
It's actually pretty good. Okay, well, let's get us out of here. We have to do a bonus episode, which you can catch on our Patreon at donotRelent.com/Patreon. Did I do that right? Patreon.com/donotRelent. We're gonna get drunker and higher, and let's go.
You know who's gonna listen to that episode? We're talking about friend of the pod, Tijurla, fourth host of the podcast, Your Monkey. Ahoy Vince, a.k.a. Nathanos, killed himself to see Sylvana since she won't even pick up the gosh darn phone. Instinct/Drag Race, Crucifix, Saracen Huck, Joe No Nips, Dorno, Gershom, Stony Tony's Stony Mama, Hoax, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde, Vanderlyle, who asks that you check out projecthope.org and support any of the worthwhile causes they are raising funds for, and Will, a.k.a. Tyre, Trade Chat's fallen father.
Yeah, thank you to our top 2 patrons, baby.
And with that, we're out of here. If you have any comments, questions, complaints, send us an email at donotrelenttpod@gmail.com. We will answer anything on the air, no matter what it is. And you know what? Maybe we'll even take a shot for the next email we get. It's been a while. We're getting a little dry out here.
I can confirm we will.
Yeah, and like another way to get us to take a shot, which is our more traditional way of taking shots, is if you leave us a review on Warcraft Radio's podcast directory.
Leave us a review there and on Spotify. What about you guys? Where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me, Alex or Immunization, on Twitter at NewEraAlex, or you can follow our podcast Instagram account on the gram at Do Not Relent.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at TheBigAcheesy on Twitter.com. You can read our literary musings at DoNotRelent.LiveJournal.com. Remember last week when I said I'd write one? I lied, but I did write another one that you can see now. It just took me 6 additional days.
Hey, it's barely a lie.
Yeah. And you can find me on twitch.tv/AaronDNR. Last week I said I'd be streaming a bunch this weekend. Can't do that. Their internet is doo-doo. I need to buy Adam last name an Ethernet cable.
Oofa doofa.
It's 4 megabytes per second. Kill me.
And remember,
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.